Hilary, welcome to the show. Good afternoon to you. Listen, this name suppression is starting to get out of hand. It seems that it's used on almost everything now, but the argument of his judge to keep him out of the media, despite being convicted of rape, is that, quote, he's got a recognisable name, he had no support from friends or family, he was still young, well, I think he's 27, so he's hardly a child, and his prospects for rehabilitation would be worse if his name was kept secret. And this was used as a reason to keep his name suppressed. The High Court judge didn't fine for him, but he's now appealing that decision to the Court of Appeal. Can I just say, it's become a bit of a burden now, hasn't it? It's a joke. I mean, anybody gets charged these days and they seem to have name suppression forever.
And what's strange about it in some respects too is often the victim hasn't. So we know about the victim, a lot about the victim.
Yes.
Quite early on.
Yes.
And
that's
my
right.
advice, and this probably isn't proper good legal advice, would be when you hear anything about those, get the name of the person accused out early on. So it's all over the place, so that the judge won't say, before it's before the courts, just get it all out there so as the judge will say, look, it's all over the place anyway now.
I'm following, just at the moment, a person about the same age, just on that, a school teacher has been arrested in Hastings, but I'll be a bit more precise than that in a moment, for sexual offending against a boy. And all that we know about that school teacher is that they are 26 years of age and that they are clearly a male, okay? And it's unusual that you see a school teacher, a practicing school teacher, be arrested. And of course, it caused quite a cause célèbre at the school because he was arrested. And the board have put around the school, all the parents involved with it, that one of the teachers has been arrested, which would cause an issue, you would think. The suppression order now relates to the name of the school. All right, so as if I talk to you now, but I can go back and find that when he was arrested and when the investigation was happening, I can go back immediately and find where the school was, Hilary, and then by using Google again, identify the teacher. It's almost as if social media makes suppression irrelevant anyhow, doesn't it?
Yes, I think, which is why I'm just saying, in some respects, getting it out there. And I'm not, I do have some sympathy for the view that if people are wrongly charged, but it mostly doesn't seem to be people wrongly charged in the sense that they are then convicted. I mean, let's just take that school teacher in Hastings. They've been charged with, I think, sexual conduct against children, about 4 or 5 counts under the age of 12, I think. Obviously a boy from it could be a girl, to be fair. I don't know that the gender of the victim has been identified. Now, let's just say they were innocent, all right? And they've been arrested. They've obviously been suspended by the school. They're going through all that hurt and humiliation. And they are eventually found not guilty. I would have thought the damage was complete anyhow, wasn't it? Wouldn't it be? Well, not only that, but the victim, if they're found not guilty, the victim's in a really difficult position, and nobody gives a tinkers about them. And when I say nobody, I mean the judges. The judges don't say, oh, well, this person's life has been ruined because technically somebody might have imagined they had consent to something or something, and the person who makes the complaint is damaged beyond repair regardless of whether there's a technical conviction.
Yes, that's
or
right.
Not.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, you're 100% correct.
And no one says that person has had their life destroyed.
No.
And this guy got off on a technicality or whatever.
Yeah.
And this guy, you have to call him this guy because we're not talking about him.
Yeah.
So it's a fraught area.
No, it is.
Yeah.
No, but it does seem now, though, that there used to be we had a principle of open justice in this country. Somebody got arrested, they appeared in front of the courts, their names was published, and that was the end of it. But now, the court process takes so long, Hilary, 2, 3, sometimes 4 years.
That makes it worse, because if person isn't found guilty, then they've been destroyed over those 2 or 3 years before they...
I mean, and so let's just say he was innocent. I mean, you're right, the odds are that he wouldn't be, which is, again, us making a judgment that he's likely to be anyhow. But let's just say he was innocent.
People in New Zealand are found not guilty. They're not found innocent. They're found not guilty. That's
right, So, no. It's just yet again, here's another suppression. The one in Wellington, though, it seems to be open and shut. He's been convicted of rape. Okay, well, end of story. But no, we're now going to go through the court process, presumably on legal aid, to go through the High Court and now the Court of Appeal on the basis of, if he shouldn't be named, saying court his lawyer, because he'll suffer hardship. Oh, bugger off. Isn't that the whole point?
And I think that when he appears before the parole board in a couple of months, then I think his name will be out then, won't it? You don't see the names.
Yes, they don't know. That's right. They don't play around with suppression of the parole board, do they? I mean, it's right out there. You're absolutely right. But
so you didn't know they were in there, but now that they're in, that they're wanting to get out, you find out that they're. I don't know how that whole suppression thing works, but the parole board does seem to always name who it's got in front of it if somebody asks.
Listen, you wanted to talk this week about John Tamahiri and about the Māori Party. And I know Sean Plunket yesterday on his breakfast show really got stuck in on this issue. And there is presumably investigations, plural, underway from both the Stats Department but also from the police to do with a particular issue. I think Sean's argument is that this is representative of long-standing behaviour issues to do with John Tamahiri, Te Pāti Māori and the Waipirira Trust. What's your thoughts?
I think that what we've got generally now is an out-of-control group of people who, like the boy racers, not the boy racers, the ram raiders, have realised that some ages of people can do what they like in New Zealand, that they're untouchable by the police. Like the people down outside the bus hub in Dunedin now that have got security guards who can't touch anybody. These are untouchable by the court system, these young people. And they've figured that out, so they just send, presumably whenever they want something stolen or whatever, they just send out a 14-year-old or 12-year-old or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We've now got, it seems to me, a group of people who, in the middle of whom are the Maori Party, who are behaving as if they think the same thing, they believe the same thing. And if that's their belief, it's a well-founded belief, because, like, what started this, I look back over last November, and the beginning of the story that's going on at the moment about John Tamahiri or the Maori Party or whatever you think it's about, the marae, says the Electoral Commission is investigating concerns raised over a voting place at Manurewa Marae, where Te Pāti Māori candidate is chief executive. So this was in November last year. The acting Electoral Commission chair, who is the deputy commission chair at the moment, and is a commercial lawyer apparently in something or other chambers, told Checkpoint concerns have been raised over the use of the marae as voting places. She said the marae, like all voting places, have been carefully assessed and the assessment found it was appropriate. It was recommended by the community, acknowledging that people need the opportunity to vote in a range of voting places, and having assurances that the candidate would not be involved in any way at the voting place, we decided we'd use it. So then she said they received complaints about activities at the marae, including whether food being provided at the voting should be considered treating. And it defines treating. And then she says, she's quoted as saying, we've had some complaints about voters being offered food during the advanced voting period, and we made sure that the marae understood the rules around treating. My understanding is it's quite a high bar for the offence of treating to be engaged, she said. She said it was inappropriate to speak further while they worked through some of the complaints, and if it found the concerns were not valid, it may not speak further at all. So I didn't speak further at all until all this blew up this week. But that's her saying, look, we told them, just in case they weren't clear. What the
Pull your
rules
head
are.
in, guys.
And she's saying, and if we don't think there's anything in it, we just won't say anything more.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just disgusting crap behaviour when you think about it.
Yeah.
And so no one does anything. And then they find that there's this other allegation, which adds sort of insult to injury in its own way, about using the allegation being that they've used the stuff they got from the census for electoral purposes. And of course, that's gold, that information. If you had census information on people, you can really target them. And so you're paying people to change, so the allegation says, paying people to change to the Maori role. You've got the person who's in charge of the chief executive of the marae standing for the party. You've got people getting given food. You've got John Tamahiri saying, you call it inducement, we call it manaka.
Yes, that's right. That's right. We've got a new name for corruption.
Yeah. And we've got two government departments who are said to have been, and presumably the Electoral Commission is one of them, and the Stats Department, who have been complained to. Neither of them do anything, or that's what it would seem from last November, her saying that. And then it blows up again now. But that means that if you were one of them and you